Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Queen G Live Experience. I am your favorite host. I'm excited, but also saddened by this person's story. She has a really mm, interesting story, and I want to present that to you and bring that to my Queen G Live Experience audience. This is one of the more difficult situations and stories, testimonies. Um, but I am happy also that this particular guest chose um, this platform to present her story on. She was kind of briefing me on some of the things, and it's not easy. But I want to welcome my special guest, Ty. There we go. All right. Can you see me, hear me? How are you?
No, I can see you now. I can see you now. Hello, how you doing? Doing good, doing good. Pleasant to meet
I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Thank you and welcome to the Queen Bee Live Experience. We definitely believe in
you.
raw, authentic, you know, stories and people's lives and being able to, use this as a platform to speak on some of the things that people have experienced. Um, I want to know first, the first question I have is welcome, Ty. I want to give your name. Her name is Ty, everybody. Um, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Louisiana. Shout out on living with my aunt and uncle. I haven't had a relationship with my mom, and I am 28 now, so it's 28 years later. And had that mother and daughter bond, but I have it with my stepmom. But it's nothing like mother's love. But at the end of the day, mom been there for me like for 28 years plus. So my stepmom will be being talked about in the book of how the relationship that we have and how I don't have the relationship with my mom. Growing up into
Okay.
a house with me, my other two sisters, it was life challenging. Like you had you had dysfunctional do was fight. We could never really get along with each other. And it's like, when you have that oldest sister, that's the one that wanna be the boss, the controlling one. Then you have the middle sister, which they wanna be like the left out one. And then it's me, the last child, which likes attention, seeks attention. That's me. And it's like as we started getting older in life, we just started falling back from each other. And it's like I'm the type of sister is like I would like to call and check on them, and like they say, phone work both ways. And
Right,
I try
right.
my best to reach out to this sister, and my the last sister. We would talk, but wouldn't really get nowhere. Then relationship that I have with my mom, I really don't call it a relationship because it's not. It's like I didn't haven't stayed with my mom, so it's like I really try to being forced and having the mother and daughter bound relationship because it's like my family generational curse just keep another after another. And I'm like, okay, somebody has to stop, break my family generational curse. It's like it hurted me so much, years growing up. I didn't see my mom put eyes, before us. It came to a point of time to where in my life that we couldn't go to our mom house. We had to call at least 5 weeks before we could get there. Then once we got there, we
Can't.
couldn't go inside her house. We had to talk to her outside. Didn't have the time.
So you're basically saying you did not
You can hear
have,
me?
you did not have a real relationship with your mom. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, correct.
Okay. And that's difficult
And it just
because,
started going. I'm at yeah, and then like I remember at the age of 8 years old, I was taken by I want to say what, at least 4 family members in a family that nobody has not in the book. And I'm talking about at the age of years old, I had suicidal thoughts. Like I wanted to kill myself because y'all took advantage of me. I what I was doing. Y'all took advantage of me, and down the line, it still withdrawals and have flags in the back of my mind. Then years go on. It come point in times where my mom stopped talking because I told her that the guy that she was dealing with, like for 10 plus years, they no longer together. And he had touched me. And when I had told her, she believed him, but she believed in me. So it came point in time that me and my mom had stopped talking for like 2 years. Then that's when I ended up forced into a marriage in 2013 that I did not really want to marry, and I really wasn't in love with him, and I really wasn't happy with him. But have a child out of wedlock. Remind you, that was my first child. Let me back it up. I had got pregnant with my daughter at 14, and I had my daughter at 15. Well, I was in the 8th grade, and I hid my pregnancy from my family, everything. And I never forget that me and my middle sister, we was end up fighting in the house. She hit me in the stomach with her stiletto heel, and that's when it started coming out. Like I'm telling Auntie that you pregnant, and I was like, I don't care, tell her. And it came out. And I'll never forget that my aunt had came home from work, and she was like, "What's this I hear that you pregnant?" So I was like, "Yeah, I think I am." And me and her ended going to Walmart that night. She took me in the bathroom, took the pregnancy test, came back positive. She hollered and screamed at me, "Get out of my face! Get out of my face!" So I ran in my room. I just started crying. And like the next day, I heard my aunt on the phone with abortion clinic. And I'm like, no, God, I don't want to have no. Like, I want to be young and hot at a young age. Let me be a woman to take care of my child. So the abortion clinic told her, well, we have to see how far she before we got aborted. And I just kept on praying, kept on praying. So in 2009, when we ended up going to the doctor for my daughter, I was 8.5 months pregnant. By then, it was too late, and that's how long I hid. I'm saying no prenatal vitamins, no nothing. The
ooh,
baby was just here, and the doctor told my she ended up coming March 2nd, 2009. So I was staying with my aunt and uncle. As a first child at that age, I still was in school, so I had a lot of changes that I had to get done. I couldn't go out with my friends anymore. Once you're a mother at that young age, everything. So it's to the point of my I was going to school. I ended up leaving school and I ended up going for my GED to become a CNA. Then, years later down the line, me and my aunt and uncle, we going tip for tap in the house. Well, I'm going with my mom. Mom wants to stay here no more. I'm going with mom. So at like 2009, almost 9 going 10, I started staying with my mom, me and my daughter. At that time, my daughter was 2. You know, every time my mom was nowhere around, he would try to come on to me, and I would always tell him, like, watch him, because he telling me that he want to have a baby with me. He want to have twins with me. Actually, I never forget what he told me. He was like, I want to have twins. I was like, man, you've been with my mom, like, all me together. We just friends. I was like, how you be friends with somebody for 10+ years? So I ended up leaving that alone. I told my mom. She didn't believe me. So I didn't get that. My mom had left and went to take care of my other aunt, because my great aunt had like surgery. So mom went to help her out. And I'll never forget, my daughter wasn't there. Me ended up having a fist fight. And once me and him had a fist fight, I took off running to one of my uncle's houses down the street to the family house. And he ended up throwing my clothes out, my daughter's clothes out. And my mom had not gone and checked on me to see why it escalated, none of that. So within those 2 years, me and my mom have not talked. They got back with the guy I was talking to in high school. 2013. My aunt and uncle went on vacation in Fort Smith, Arkansas for Thanksgiving. So at that time, I had the house to myself. So you're gonna play house. You feel like want to play house. Me and him and stand to my aunt and uncle's house until they got back, but we was being sneaky with it. So that I got pregnant to my aunt and uncle house, and how they thought that he was there. He had left. He had dropped his bag of clothes on the bar stool seat, and I'll never forget. It was a Sunday morning going to church, and it was been in my house. At that time, I was like lying. I was like, no man, nobody hasn't been in here. But who these clothes for? So I texted him. I was like, she found out you was here because of you left over. So my aunt me and him ended up going to church. After church, it was me, him, and my uncle. We all in the front room talking, discussing. And I never forget, my aunt said, "How look, you have pregnant and you're gonna have your baby. Okay, other people do it, why I can't do it? Oh no, it ain't gonna go like God sent." But at that time, I was 19, still young, couldn't make no decisions of my own, didn't know how to make decisions of my own.
Right. At that point, you didn't. Can I say this real quick?
My son is.
At that point, you didn't really have any
Go ahead.
Real sense of direction from
Go ahead.
Parents, in-laws, anything, because your mom's boyfriend was sleeping with you. Everybody around was messing with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you even know what the real deal is, or how you're supposed to be as a young girl, if those are the kind of examples that are in your immediate space? And I can just see you being confused. I can just see you being confused about it. Like, I don't know what's what. You know what I mean? Knowing what's right from wrong, but at the same time being confused. You did not have the love and support, it seems like, from your actual mom. That's another issue too. You know what I mean? And she was going with the flow of what he was talking about. That's rough. That's a rough position to be in. And you're so young. You know what I mean? Wow. I my head is just
Yeah.
hurting from thinking about it. It's terrible, you know, it's molestation. I don't care how they see it or how they portrayed it or put it. It is, you know, when someone takes a young girl's innocence, that's molestation. That's them tampering and touching you, and it's not appropriate behavior. Period. How did you mentally deal with that? Mentally,
Who it took some time because it came upon a time to where I couldn't even go to function. I had stopped going to family functions. I'll go to family functions, but I would leave. I couldn't stay no longer than 5 10 minutes. I couldn't stay because it was still right across my mind. I was all around them, and I was like, you know what, I just can't. And I was like, you know, I couldn't tell it young because nobody later. I would be expressing it through my book, through my whole life that I done been through. So it's a lot that I face, and I always tell people like, you know, it's okay. You don't, you know, some people don't know when to come out and share their story. But like I tell them, you know, it's okay. Whenever you're ready to tell your story, whether it's a stranger, whoever, family, I'm gonna be right beside of you with the best and biggest support because I know what it felt like to take advantage of, not knowing, you know, who did it to me. You know, to this day, suffering with it in different families, and it's not getting talked about. And it's so much that I've
right?
been going through from relationship to just carry myself. And I was like, you know what? I just want to be loved. You know, I'm tired of going in round circles. You know, I was like, okay, let me be still. Let me try to go left, just keep going straight. And I'm straight is 5 months now, 5 years. I'm sorry, 5 years now that I've been single. I'm not. It's not even on my mind. My mind right now is goals, chasing money, chasing dreams, and just striving to get my family, my kids back for sure, my family, because I always express it's no love like a mother's love. But then again, I always say that line, and I'm like, okay, I never had that love from my mom, but I have it with my stepmom, and my daughter is 12. And you know, every time I try to FaceTime my daughter, it's like she don't give me undivided attention. Like when I want to be looking, some shit at the ceiling fan, and I'm like, "Mama didn't FaceTime me to the ceiling fan. I want to talk to you. I want to see
One
your
on one,
face."
yeah,
Then she got
right.
interruptions to where she got her friends, you know. So at that age, at 12, she's smelling herself with the disrespect, the talking back, and however I go, I'm 3 hours away from my children with her. I always go mother on and talk. And I always, you know, be open to it. I always tell like, baby, if you want to do this and do that, you know, let mama know. Don't be scared because mama did everything you got now, this generation at 12. I said, but mama did all that. And, you know, half of it hurted me, but I had to come out and tell her the truth of how I felt. A lot of times I felt like my daughter was buying my love. Like half the times my daughter would call me like 2 3 weeks.
You guys, we're having some issues with the stream. Let's see if we can get some better reception. Sorry about that. I want you guys to be able to hear her because she has such a uh, very difficult story. Her testimony is very difficult. It's not easy at all. But I want you guys to be able to hear it because, you know, these are the things that we don't discuss or talk about or bring to the forefront. Um, and okay, Mama, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes, but it's kind of like a big, huge delay.
Can you hear me?
Um,
Hold on.
mhm. We're trying to get our stream together so that you guys can really, really hear her story. She's been molested. She didn't really have her birth mom in her life. Her stepmom raised her, and she didn't have a good relationship with some of her siblings, and she was molested by relatives. It's just crazy. Like, and this is the things that people go through on a regular basis, but they just refuse to bring it to the forefront or talk about it. And we have to address these things so that we can heal and we can move forward, um, and we can begin to, you know, make things better in our lives and then the lives of the people behind us that are also experiencing those things. I was just telling them and reminding them of some of your situations that you've been through. And I'm talking about how we always sweep it under the carpet, you know what I mean? Try to hide it or not talk about it. And we have to talk about it because this is happening in a lot of families. You know what I mean? And it's happening so often, you know what I mean? And mentally, like yourself, you're older now, but it's like it's still with you. Like the situation and the memories still, you know what I mean, are with you to this day. And we gotta begin to talk about it so that we can heal and get counseling for the issues that come from these kind of moments. You know what I mean? Not only were you molested, but also you were a teen mom that wasn't really addressed. That was looked right over as if it was nothing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's a lot, and I know mentally it has to be tough. You know what I mean? It has to be really tough. So, do you have any feedback on that statement right there? Hopefully, well, with this reception, I don't know where she's at, but the reception is not that clear. So, we might have to have her back on a future show because I really want to hear her story. I can't, I don't know if you're trying to talk, but go ahead and, you know, express yourself and speak. The reception is terrible. um, See if we can get some more out of her to speak about some of the things that she's experienced. She was a teen mother. I'm a teen mother as well. I had my first child at 14. Um, Mine was different though. Mine was way different. My mom basically told me that you carry that seed, you're going to have to take care of it. That was what my mom told me because it was my choice to have a baby at that age and that early at 14 years of age. My second child was born at 16. years of age. A lot of people don't know that. Um, that part of my life, it was a lot going on, and I had to survive through all of it. It's just not easy, guys. It's not easy. Ty, do you have any feedback or anything to say in rebuttal of what I said? Sorry, guys. I don't know. The reception is bad. Let's try to see if she can rejoin and get her back in here. But yeah, it's this secret, this big secret in families is it's real bad, y'all. It's happening more than you know, and it's more prevalent than you know. And we got to start addressing these things. We got to start talking about it. We got to start releasing it and getting things off of us. There are some things that happened in my past that I'm not happy about. And, I have to, begin to thank God I'm a talk show host, because it allows me to be able to express myself, with some of the things that I've experienced at different times. And it's a part of my counseling and my healing and my therapy and things like that. But can you imagine a lady like this who, she was touched by her mom's boyfriend and ignored about it, just all kind of stuff. Like, and these are horrible things to happen, and horrible things that are secrets in our families, and that we, don't acknowledge. There's no counseling, of course. Everybody just moves forward as if there's, nothing happened. And that's not healing. That's not going to make things better or easier. And I'm just happy that this beautiful lady was able to get on here and kind of share some of her testimony about her experience. Let me see if she can come back on. I don't know what's going on with the reception, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this difficult show and podcast. It's dear to my heart. When she told me her story and told me she was willing to come on here, I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be a difficult show, but we can do it, because she needs to vent. She needs to get it off of her and be able to express herself and talk about some of the things that have went on in her past, even with her siblings. It's not easy, y'all, and we got to stop putting stuff under the carpet, and begin to start putting it out there and expressing ourselves. She's actually in the middle of writing a book right now, and she is putting some of these memories inside of that book. And I've been, talking to her and mentoring her and coaching her on how to write and put a story out. Let's see if we can get her back. Hey, Ty.
Hey, you can hear me?
Yes.
I know we have some technical difficulties, everybody, but just be patient with us. Queen, I couldn't hear what you were saying because of technical difficulties. Can you repeat back what you were saying?
I was just saying that, we as families got to stop hiding this type of stuff under the carpet, and we got to start addressing it and getting counseling, not being afraid to get counseling. Counseling is not bad. It's a lot of African Americans, especially, that believe that, they don't need counseling. And that's not true. Like, we got to start expressing this stuff and getting it, off of us and talking about it. Because look, you've carried this for multiple eons of years. And look, it has a really hard effect, you know, later on when you can't, you know, express this type of stuff to someone and tell them what you've been through. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hang tight.
And I had thought at one point in time that I didn't need counseling, but I was like, yes, I really do need counseling. Counseling does help. It helps a lot. And what really made me get into counseling when 2019, May 20, 2019, after my birthday, I had lost my daughter. And it heartbroke me. It really heartbroke me that, you know, I didn't think, you know, family would really turn against you like it. And they did it out of spite. Like I never forget, it was Mother's Day, and I wanted to take my kids out to eat. And I could remember that my uncle didn't want to let my daughter come with me, claiming that it was late, you know, Mother's Day is over with. But I was taking my to, and I was bringing them right back. So no, she's not going. So I ended up leaving. Then my friend told me, she was like, "Go back. It's Mother's Day. It's your daughter. Go back and get her." So at that time, when I walked in the house with my ex-husband and we're just shooting the bull, just talking about when I walked in. So I ended up taking my daughter, and then me and him got altercation. And then my aunt had came in and she just hollered at me. She was like, get out my house, get out my house. And I was like, I'm about to call the police on y'all because y'all want to give me my daughter. I said, it's Mother's Day. And I never forget, my aunt was like, I don't care, call the police. This my house. Matter of fact, get off my property. If you want to call the police, go on somebody else's property. Don't get on my property. And I didn't move. I stayed in my car. I locked my door, rolled my windows up, and it's like my aunt wanted to attack me. Like she was pulling on my doorknob, like she tried to break in my car, like just hard down, put on the doorknob, and tried to break my window. When the police came, they ended up getting my daughter. Had no choice. Then that's when my husband came son. Well, you know, at that time, you know, I still was staying with my uncle who was Charles, but I just wanted my kids just to spend Mother's Day with my kids. I never forget when my children were staying with me to my uncle's house in Lake Charles, Louisiana. He in a room sleeping. They get a knock on the door, and I hear my body knocking hard on the door. So as I go to the door, I'm like, okay, who is it?
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening reception wise on her end. We're going to have her back on the show because I really want to hear her story. We're going to try to get her in here as much as we can. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, being patient with us tonight, listening in on the podcast. And again, this subject right here is definitely one of those things that we definitely don't want to address or talk about, you know, and it's a big secret, especially in African American families. Especially, I will say that because, you know, they don't want to talk about the fact that this stuff is going on, but it's happening, you know. Um, and let's see if we can get her back. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why the reception is not working. It's working on my end. Um, we're going to have her back again to talk about this. And you know what I want to do? I want to bring her back on again, but possibly have a counselor on there as well to kind of give that, you know, to counteract what she's speaking on and kind of give us the counseling side of it. I would love to have that. I didn't think about that tonight, but y'all, I definitely want to bring her back and address it in the future and have a counseling on as well and speak on that subject, and see what feedback they could give us. Because again, counseling is kind of one of them things where people just they throw it, push it under the carpet. They don't want to, you know, talk about it, deal with it. They don't want to go talk to nobody. Um, but it's sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to go to counseling. Sometimes we need these things to help us, you know, get through these moments. And it's a lot going on in our society, in our world, and we got to stop pushing stuff under the carpet. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, see if she comes back. Sorry, guys. Ty.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, okay. Sorry, guys, for the difficulties. We just please be patient with us.
Yes, I can hear you a little better. Um, Now, what were you saying last? I want to make sure we get every point that you were trying to make.
Okay. Yeah, the last thing I had said that I took my kids. I was living with my uncle in Lake Charles, Louisiana at that time, and I took my kids all and was staying with them. And the next day, I ended up. My son was like, "Mama, they got a hard knock on the door." So as I went and opened the front door, and it was three coppers, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Who y'all here for? So he was like, such and such. I couldn't remember their names. He was like, but we with Lake Charles Police Department. He said that we got a phone call saying that you have three kids in a home and that you beat them. Saying
I'm
that you
here.
have three kids in a home and that you beat them. And I was like, okay, okay, so and I was like, what? I said, man, I don't beat my kids like that. So I asked him, I was like, man, who called? I said, who called y'all? I was like, first off, I said, how y'all know what house to come in at? And they couldn't tell me. I was like, I know. I said, it was my people back at home in Crawley. I think they're the only ones that know the address. So at that time, I called the police department. They kept just searching, scanning around my uncle's house. And I was like, and it got crazy because my uncle was like, I can't have this around my house. He was like, your aunt and your uncle and your ex husband in the middle. He said, I don't do mess, I don't do drama. He said they need to leave my name out of it. And now they got my house residents involved. So it came a point in time that me and my uncle, he like not really a falling out, but I ended up having to leave. So I ended up staying with a friend, and then basically that's when I ended up going back to Crawley. And I'll never forget that my uncle, my mom' oldest brother, he was helping me out, because they had like maybe like a week of school, the end of the school year, maybe a week left. The grades was already up to par, and we ended up meeting Crowley, and took us out all. all of us out to eat at Gaddis. And I'll never forget that my daughter have a contract phone under the plan. And she kept, calling her phone. Well, my daughter had it, but at the time, all the children wanted to get in the truck with him. So I was by my, and I had her phone. And I don't know how fast he picked up her location, but he immediately found me, and he wanted my daughter's phone. So we was playing tit for tat. I got on the interstate. He was behind. I exit off the interstate. He exit off, all behind my daughter's phone. So once I finally made to my location destination at Mr. Pettis, he ended up parking straight, so I wouldn't be able to back out. So he like, phone, give me her phone, and I said, here, you can take her phone. I said, but why y'all always have to check and see what I'm doing with my children? At the time, the children were going to Lafayette, Louisiana. And he was like, "This is my phone. I paid a phone bill. You don't tell me about." I said, "Okay, well, take my daughter's phone." And my mind had just got so outrageous, and I was like, "Leave me and my kids the f alone." Like I said it, the whole word. So he said, "Come here, come here." What you said? I said, "You heard what I said." I said, "Y'all need to leave me and my children the f alone." And I never forget, my uncle slapped me in my face, and he was like, "Don't you disrespect me?" I said, "Well, y'all disrespecting me." So once he had me in the corner of Mr. Gaddis. See, the cameras couldn't catch when he slapped me in my face, but my uncle slapped me in my face, and then I ended up running into Mr. Gaddis, and I just started cussing at him again. So he flew in Mr. Gaddis, and I just started screaming. I had told my uncle, I was like, "You better get your uncle." I said, because he had already slapped me in my face. I said, "I'm about to press charges on him." And that's when my uncle had came, and he was like, "Oh, you need to back up. You tripping. This is a public place." So at that time, that's when the police came. I ended up pressing charges on him. And I felt like this ever since I pressed charges on him and I dropped the charges, we have not looked at each other the same. When I that his birthday was August 13th of this year, I texted him and told him happy birthday. He didn't respond, and I know he got the text message. He did not respond to me, tell me thank you. And I just felt like ever since he slapped me in my face, I pressed the charges. I end up dropping them. It's not the same. But then if you
Right.
go back into my life in 2013, when I was forced to get married, all because I had a child. And it's like I at the time I was like, okay, me and him, we sat down and talked. We was like, okay, let's wait and have our child first. Then we could go from there and see if it's still up to us if we want to get married. Well, at that time, we both young. We didn't have no say so. So my aunt had forced us to marry. The wedding was set and due November 28, 2013. My son was being born August 2013. So the wedding was pushed to May 30th, 2013. And when I tell you that people started dropping out the wedding like flies because they knew that I was forced into getting married. And I was like, okay, doing this, we doing that. At that time, I'm pregnant. I was working. He ended up quitting his job. He was a clock at Walmart. I never forget. He ended up quitting his job. Remind you that we have a wedding to pay for. So they for buying the
This
girls'
is what
dresses, buying my dress, buying the
Ty,
guys' tub, the limo.
Ty. This is what we gonna do.
Uh huh. Yeah,
You're
I'm here.
currently writing a book.
Okay.
You're writing a book about some of the situations that happened when you were younger, and you're writing a book about a lot of this. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring you back on for a future show, and I'm going to also have a counselor on as well. I want to have the two situations at the same time. By then we'll have worked out the reception and all that stuff, and figure out, you know, what's going on, and have the reception. Because the thing about my audience, they want to hear you. They want to hear everything that you're saying. And we're doing them a disservice right now, not allowing them to hear what you're saying. So we're just going to have you back on the future show. It might even be in a couple of days. We just got to figure everything out and make sure we have better reception, and our special guests on as well at the same time, to be able to share in counseling situations with you and have that exchange. Okay. So y'all get ready for a part 2. This is our special guest, Ty. She is going to give you her exclusive, but she's going to give us, we're going to do a part 2 so that you guys can really hear her story. I want you to really hear her story, and not have it where the reception is messed up and bad, where you can't hear her. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to bring you back, have you on for a future show, and make sure that everything is on point reception wise and all that good stuff. And we'll have you on a future show. We're almost at the end of the first hour anyway. But yeah, I want to bring a counselor on. I know someone that I want to bring on here with you, so they can be able to, you know, kind of talk with you about these kind of situations. Okay. All right. So yeah, is there anything else you want to, any closing remarks you want to give to the people? Any closing remarks?
Just stay tuned for part 2. Just be patient with us. I feel like ain't nobody mad, because I have so much to say and let out, and he just keep going in. So it's nobody mad but the devil. But I just want to say to anybody out there that don't know how to tell a story, with being molested, took advantage, domestic violence, whatever it is, do not be afraid to tell your story. Let out. My book will be called How Do You Heal a Broken Heart? Stay tuned for part 2. I will be releasing all my shout outs into the people that really see me at my lowest point. But really, it goes out to a special friend of mine. She was there for me, you know, nothing. But stay tuned for part 2. That's when I release all the shout outs.
Okay, y'all. So we're going to jump off of here. Thank you so much, Ty, for giving us that information. And it really is, you know, one of those things where we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. We need to address this. We need to bring it up. We need to tell the world, you know, about some of these hidden secrets, because that is the way that we will heal and move forward in our society and in our world and in these households, you know, where molestation is happening, and, you know, broken families and broken homes and all of those things. And we're experiencing teen pregnancy and, you know, all the stuff that's happening. We need to talk about it. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. And y'all stay tuned for part 2. Like she said, we will be back on a future show. And yes, stay tuned for part 2. And we'll let you know too when Ty will be back on. We will try to saturate social media heavy so that you can be prepared for her story. Okay. All right. So in meanwhile, y'all, we're going to jump off of here. This is your girl, Queen G of Queen G Live Experience. This is my special guest, Ty. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. We'll see you next time. Okay. Peace.